Cool. Nick,
Yes.
mate, what a day, hey?
Yeah, what a day.
So, here's one of the competitors this year. We've got Linda, who is competing on behalf of Toby's estate. Now, Josh Robertson. Hey, mate. Hey, Dylan, how you going?
Mate, how are you?
I'm Luke, mate.
Dylan, nice to meet you.
Mate, we've got the ultimate champion here. We've got Hugh Kelly, mate. Absolute pleasure, mate, to have you.
Thanks so much.
Simon Gautherin.
Gautherin.
My apologies. Yeah, sorry. I want to introduce Hannah here from Victoria Arduino. Thanks very much for sponsoring the Coffee Community Championships. What's your name, sorry?
Lee.
Lee. I'm Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Welcome to the Artisti YouTube channel. Well, I'm here with Bruno. I believe you're the president of ASCA, is that correct?
I'm president of ASCA, absolutely, yeah.
Excuse me, we've got to give a special mention to the lovely ladies behind the scene here. We've got Serene and Natalie.
Hello.
Jimmy Lin. Did you know that you could actually become the world barista champion or the best latte art competitor of the world and be the latte art champion? Or you could be the Brewers Cup champion. Well, you can. And a lot of people don't realize that that is a real thing that you can do in the coffee industry. And I'm here this week in the competition in Australia, in the New South Wales Coffee Championships, to see what it's like, so that I can show you a bit of the inside as to what it would be like to train or to get to this kind of level of competition. So anyway, a lot of different stuff we're going to go through this week. Come on the journey as we see what it's all about. Oh, Nick,
Yes.
mate, what a day, hey?
Yeah, what a day.
We've spent a lot of time learning how to judge.
Yes.
But just tell me, you're here. Like, how did you get here? What's your history, quickly?
So since 2017, I've been competing as a latte art competitor, and I've always wanted to judge. And this year, I've decided to judge instead of competing. So here I'm with Luke and Karen, and yeah, we learned how to judge.
Yeah, it's been interesting for me not looking into this space at all, really. You know, just seeing some of the people come through, but never really looked at actually what it is to compete or to judge. But what you said before is very interesting now, being on the other side after competing, how hard it is actually to be a judge. So what are you going to do different now when you go back to compete? What do you think? You got some more respect perhaps for the judges? What's your thoughts in seeing both sides of the process now?
When I was a competitor, I was more focused on my designs. Yeah, tried to bring up like more creative designs, but from today, what I've noticed, coming up with a creative design is important as well, but executing the skills, it might look small factors, but that can affect a big difference in scores. I knew that, but every year I was more focused on the new design, my own technique, but yeah, maybe if I get to compete next year or in future years, maybe I'll try to execute more skills as well as my new patterns.
Yeah, I think definitely the technical side is a key part. Being able to pour great, clean rosettas consistently is probably something that I think people miss. They might be able to fit more in a cup, but where does it add actual value, and whether it actually is balancing or you're just putting things in there or elements in for the sake of putting them in. Have you got any new sort of ideas that you might think about, just looking at the technicalities and saying, oh, I've poured a seahorse before, but now I would pour it this way because I know what the judges are looking for? Is there anything you're picking up in what you've done previously that you think from a judging perspective you can change more in your own patterns?
We've talked about this earlier, like one of my concept was imagination. I thought it was I wanted to do that concept because I wanted the judges to get engaged more into my presentation. But I realized that we've tried judging today, and I realized it makes judges even more having a difficult time. Definitely gets judges engaged more, but they lack in time, and that may cause less time to focus on my designs and cups because they're so busy writing down all the elements.
Yeah, so to be clear, what you did is you have to present a photo of your patterns and then you've got to pour them. And what Nick did is he turned the patterns upside down so the judges couldn't see it, so it would be a surprise when the patterns were poured, and he flicked it over and that's what they should look like. However, from a judge's perspective, the time when the barista is actually frothing the milk, what the judge is doing is looking at that photo and writing down all the techniques, you know, a rosetta here or a heart there or whatever, so that when the cup's poured, we're already way ahead on our judging.
Yes.
And so You created yourself a bit of a, a negative because the judges were thinking about writing your designs down as opposed to actually judging you. So putting more pressure on the judge as opposed to, giving him more time.
Maybe so in the future I might not consider that method, but I'll try to bring more different maybe, since I know how the judging process is done now, maybe because I want judges to get engaged in my presentation more. So I'll try to think of more different ways to get the judges engaged more.
Are you feeling more nervous today as a judge going into what we're going to have on Wednesday, or are you feeling more nervous when you were competing?
I think it's a different kind of nervousness, like feel. But as a competitor, obviously, I get very nervous. But as a judge, I think it's more because of a responsibility to the competitors, because they've been preparing this competition for so long, and I don't want to upset them by giving wrong scores. So it gives me pressure to give right comment and right scores to the competitors. And because since I've been a competitor for many years, I know that they have been practicing for so long.
So it's a one
work.
1 in 5 chance you're gonna upset 4 people in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how we go, Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's enjoying hanging out with you at the moment. Now we're going to get grilled by the scorers in our testers. So they're going to punish us. We'll see if we're good judges.
Okay.
Sydney. Alright, so judges, this is my Sydney Don't Fit. Now I hope you like my presentation, and with that I call for time.
So here's one of the competitors this year. We've got Linda, who is competing on behalf of Toby's estate. Now, I know you haven't competed yet today. It's coming up a little bit later. But how are you feeling? I know that's a really big, bold question at the start.
Okay.
But how are you feeling right now?
Like feeling pretty good overall. I think better than where I was last year, this time last year. And I guess like it just comes in waves, nervousness and stuff. Like, right now I'm calm, and then maybe in 20 minutes I'll be a nervous wreck, and then I'll be calm again. Yeah, but I think it's just more about knowing what to expect helps, and kind of having a goal. The overarching goal is that, be really happy with what you've accomplished and managed to get out anyway, because it's like takes a lot of time and dedication. And
yeah, for sure. So you just said that you've been here before. So how many times? Is this the second time?
This is my third time. Third time, yeah. But like I've had quite a bit of time in between competing.
Yep.
So the last time I competed was like before COVID, 2017 or 2018, and then last year was my other competition, and then this is pretty fresh from. Yeah.
Sure. And just baristaing, that's the barista comp?
Yeah, just barista.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. We saw yesterday there having a look at the gear, and the VA gear is going to be pretty nice, the Primo and the Mythos grinders.
Yeah.
Is there anything there you go, I am not familiar with that setup? Is there anything you're just like, oh wow, I'm not sure? Or are you really comfortable with that kind of gear?
To be honest, like if anything, the biggest thing, I think like all coffee machines essentially work the same, and the way you move around it's going to be the same in terms of workflow. But biggest thing that with barista comps in particular is that don't ever underestimate or overestimate how much space you have, because I think that's the thing that I think everyone gets. Like I would always suggest practice with the most minimum amount of space, thinking that you have no space at all to put your portafilters and your workflow and all of that. Yeah, so I think like even this time I was like, I'm preparing to know that I'm not going to have enough space, but I get there again after the walkthrough, and I was like, oh shit, I have way less space.
Okay, cool.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So this year, the Coffee Community Championship's a little bit different, so we can get into the regional side of things and get access to this a bit more. Obviously, that's changed over the years. That wasn't what you had to go through in the past.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stop for this plane. Is it less pressure knowing that everything's there? All the gear, everything ready for you to go. You don't have to think as much around that side of things.
It's amazing. It's actually amazing, and it gives us a better. Weirdly enough, it gives us a better opportunity to prepare, because we understand what how our coffee's going to perform in the cups. We know even with our workflows, we can prepare to kind of get used to the certain jugs. I actually think it's great. If it was the same format as last time, I don't think I'd compete, because the the signature drink that we would usually do instead of oat milk. So lame. Sorry. I hate that.
We got that, so lame. So basically the barrier to entry is a lot less. It used to be a 15-minute contest.
Yeah.
You had to do espressos, milk, and then a signature drink.
Yeah.
And this time the signature drink is taken away for the next level or the next round of championships.
Yeah.
So now it's a 10-minute presentation.
Yeah.
And look, even in the coffee, you've got your cups and things already
Yeah.
provided. The brewers guys have everything. There's a whole table
it's
of
pretty
brewing
cool.
gear. So, the barrier to entry is really low. And
Yeah.
it's a lot more easy to enter and feel safe because it's pretty daunting.
It is. And like the guys this time around, like all the coffee community organisers, ASCA, like they've done a really, like it feels nice in there. It feels really calm. It's just good vibes. And I think they've done a great job this time around. Yeah.
And how many years have you been a barista for?
Far out. A long time. Like, so I'm 37. And then since I was 23.
Okay, yeah, cool. We'll do some maths on that one.
Yeah.
And always been in the Toby's camp, or?
Oh, Toby's for the last three and a bit years, but always worked for Veneziano before, and it's always cafes. Yeah.
Well, you're looking good. You're looking comfortable. You're looking confident. I just bumped into you as we're walking down the street here. You look like you had your groove.
Yeah. Like I think I'm lucky because it's not my first time. I know what to expect, but also like, you're always going to be nervous, and I think it's just more about finding ways of like understanding how you react in stress situations, and then try to manage that, and then know that like, man, no one's judging you other than the judges, but also they very appreciative of the time and effort everyone has put in.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
It's like it's even if you don't win, you get so much gains out of it, like afterwards.
That's it. You learn a lot from just turning up, giving it a crack, and I think everyone is a bit worried about that.
And you got nothing to prove. Like, it doesn't mean that it doesn't like diminish your current skills or where you're at. Like, this is just like a side quest of things. Like, so I feel like for any young baristas thinking about doing any of this, it's not. Don't put the value on comp so much, but it's a good thing to do for personal growth.
Yeah, definitely. Get in, give it a go. There are opportunities. Reach out. I'm sure everyone can get in there.
Yeah.
Well, look, best of the luck. I hope you do well. But we do have our own competitor, Jim in there. But I think everyone's performed to their best, and we'll see how it all comes out.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, good luck. We look forward to seeing how you go.
Thanks. Bye. Thanks for that. Now we'll get you to stir your espressos back and forth 4 times before tasting and assessing, but feel free to do so as soon as I've placed them in front of you. Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you. Enjoy.
Oh, Josh Robertson. Hey, mate. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Great. Mate, manning stand here today?
Yes, manning the alternative Jericho stand, making tiramisu. Beautiful. Yeah, love it. Love it.
Well, I'll have one of those a bit later today because it's in my day if I have a couple of cheese in there.
Oh, but it'll gear you up. It's so punchy of flavour.
Oh, look, I love the tiramisu, but yeah, timing is everything. Maybe an alternative milk. That's a good idea. Mate, people want to know your face around the place. Love you. We've connected over the years many times. But mate, you did compete.
Yeah, I did.
So you're not unfamiliar with this kind of territory. Mate, I hear there's a little bit of a story that goes on with you in competitions. Like, mate, tell us all about it. Everyone has their moment. Everyone gets a bit nervous, but yours is pretty cool.
Well, I competed in 2018, came third. I had a chilly signature drink. It was really good. It freaked my judges out, but came out. I was really happy with it. And then that got me through the Nationals in 2019. 2019, I did something I've never done in my now 15-year career, and it's well known within the industry, and now you guys will know too. But I got up on stage in front of 2,000 people, made 12 coffees, and I didn't tamp a single shot. So I had introduced a new technique into it, and I was so focused on my speech and stuff, and I freaked out. I just didn't tamp a single coffee. The judges said my coffee tasted really nice, which I was stoked about, but the judges were like, dude, you dropped the ball. So to my everlasting humbleness, that's my experience in front of 2,000 odd people and cameras and judges and doing that, and I actually had a coffee tastes great, even though I dropped the ball everywhere.
Got you 3 points, I think, to no Tamp, isn't it?
I have no idea, but I tell you what, it killed every single coffee, so I got destroyed on those. Yeah, 100%.
Well, there you go. So, look, just giving it a crack. That's what it's about, you know. And
Definitely.
these stories become fun and they become mythical over time, maybe. you know.
They come inside jokes too. It's like, oh man, you make a coffee? Cool. Make sure you take my coffee, please. But yeah, fair enough.
But it seems like a really good community here. Look, definitely the game on. Like when it's happening, people are serious. But outside of it, everyone's really jovial, really helpful, and encouraging to each other. So it's really good to see. And that's what I want to give a light-hearted openness.
Yes. The coffee community is great. I mean, you do see a lot of familiar faces. This is one of the few events of the Barista calendar year. You actually get to meet old friends, especially some that travel so far away to compete. But we get to trade coffees, we get to trade stories, we get to catch up, we get to see what's new. And as competitors, if you ever do think about competing, it is the one avenue that you can fast track your skills so quickly. The stress of getting on stage, fumbling it, and going through those motions can really teach you a lot about coffee. And then when you get back on bar, you are the least stressed person in that entire cafe because your skills have been sharpened. And I love competition. I will do it again. I'm not sick of it. What do you
next year? You want to go against me? Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, okay, I'll go up against you. Bring it on. I'm always for the comp.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. All right, thanks, Josh.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys.
How you feeling, mate?
I'm feeling good today, mate. Like tomorrow is our regional New South Wales and ACT Community Coffee Championship. So we're getting ready. We're getting all set up. Beautiful venue has been all set up by the judges and volunteer. And Luke behind the camera is also helping out to calibration, helping out on judging on Wednesday as well. So I'm ready. So I'll be on stage tomorrow around 3 o'clock. So looking forward to it.
Hey Dylan, how you going?
Mate, how are you?
I'm Luke, mate.
Dylan, nice to meet you.
Mate, Oatly's one of the sponsors here for the Coffee Community Championships. What do you got here, mate?
So we thought this year we'd do something a little different and we'd serve our own Oatly soft serve, which is very exciting for us because we've never had in Australia until probably a couple months ago. So
all right,
yeah. So let's do it.
Let's give it a crack, yeah.
So it's a completely different product that it's not made out of like oat milk per se. It is an ice cream solution that's ready to go in any soft serve machine.
Yep.
We've got some toppings here, which I think are quite exciting. Some strawberry pearls.
Oh, nice.
Matcha powder.
Oh.
For those lovers of the strawberry matcha. We got it.
I'm not a matcha man, but you know what?
Well,
We're going to give it a go.
I bought it for him anyway. It's a force feed.
All right, let's give it a go. All right.
Maybe he's going to come around. Maybe this is the moment. So we get a
matcha or not, hey? Oh, look,
he loves it. He loves it.
I love the oat.
He loves it.
The Oatly's awesome, to be honest. Matcha is just not my thing.
But the popping pearls are pretty good.
Pearls, hang on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're delicious.
Delicious, right?
Awesome. Well,
most welcome.
It's awesome. Without these kind of supporters or brands getting involved, these competitions just can't go ahead. So well done, Oatly.
We love being here. So yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thanks.
Cool.
Cool. So, mate, you've had a chance to play with the grinder. You've had a chance to play with the V8T. You feeling comfortable with that kind of gear? What are you finding, mate? It's a bit different.
They beautiful actually. Like if you're in a cafe, I can't find a better setup like this. Basically, they have like the grind by time, free settings, and then easy dialing with my grind size. And then I play around with this grinder almost a month. Like thanks VA to let us have a machine to play around with it. And also, the espresso just tastes good out of it. Like just consistent temperature. I connect with my phone throughout the time, and then it just comes out. I can adjust my plum pressure. I can adjust my yield. I can adjust the temperature inside. My espresso is brewing like 93.5 degrees, which is like a default setup. It's really amazing.
So it's definitely the who's who of the coffee industry here at the moment. They're all coming in to check out the new talent that's coming around. And mate, we've got the ultimate champion here. We've got Hugh Kelly, mate. Absolute pleasure, mate, to have you.
Thanks so much.
Grab me for a few minutes, mate. Hey, look, you can tell your story about it. So what have you achieved in the competition side of coffee?
Yeah, so I competed for maybe 10 years and won the Australian Barista Championships 3 times. And then was world finals twice. The last time I competed was 3rd in the world in Milan.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Real credit to you, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
So what's been the highlight out of all of those, mate? One thing that really stands out. I mean, that's a long road to try and win.
Yeah.
You know, Australian 3 times. But what's the personal thing that gets to you?
For me, it wasn't always about necessarily winning. It was, I mean, yes, I obviously wanted to win and you wanted to do well, but for me, the motivation was always about discovering something new and maybe trying to figure out like that next level of coffee that I hadn't tasted before, and that was probably the driver. So as an example, when I always think about like my best memories of coffee was my last competition, and any of my competitions that you would have seen, there were things that I've done that I haven't seen before in the industry and were contributing to a taste outcome. So
Yeah, I think that seems to be the key. Like, there's always going to be something new, something developed each year to help you progress. If you went in just doing the same thing as last year, you're not going to get there. Are you working, like, you know, as you sort of came out of the last comps, you know, what's it looking like right now? Are you going to compete again? Are you, you know, where are you at today? I mean, looking pretty relaxed. You don't look like you're competing today.
No, definitely not competing today. I guess my early years, I was trying to figure the competition out, and it was, you're always kind of going, oh, I'm not good at that, or I'm not good at consistency, or I'm not in control of, you know, signature drinks, or I don't understand how to put those together. And there's always a drive to get better at your biggest weakness, and that drove me initially. And then you get to that point where you're kind of in control and you start to get a bit more creativity with things. So I guess that was like trying to develop new profiles or different coffee like options that don't exist yet, sort of thing. So my last worlds was taking different species that were sort of swept under the rug and a little polarizing or weird, and changing how they're worked with at the farm to make them exciting. And that was the craziest coffee experience I've ever had. And that's more exciting for me than maybe outcomes in the competition. So for me, like, that was, I wasn't thinking about competition. It was more about like, how do I improve this thing? How do I kind of discover a new experience that, you know, may be exciting or valuable for people? So then the last time I competed, it wasn't so much about that. It was more, this is a really great coffee. I'm going to come in and hit the score sheet and all that sort of stuff. And there wasn't maybe that internal drive in the same way about discovering something new or like kind of evolving or breaking new ground, I guess. So I didn't really have that internal fire, and that kind of came across to the judges in a way. They actually asked me, how did I feel presenting on that final day? And I was sort of like, yeah, fine. And I kind of realized when I was debriefing then that it was like, I'm actually not genuinely like, I don't have that fuel and that fire towards this coffee or this idea. So I guess to get back into comp for me, I wouldn't do it unless, you know, I know, for example, Eugenoides, when I discovered that idea and how to sort of work with that, it was just like, it wasn't like I was competing any other year. I was just genuinely excited to go through the process and to figure out, you know, how to work with it and how to sort of refine it and tweak it and all those sorts of things. And you work silly hours doing that, but it doesn't feel like you're training or working. When the year after, it felt like a tough process, and maybe because I wasn't just feeling it and using intuition and getting excited about that in a natural way. So until I find a coffee that, or an opportunity maybe to break new ground or to give you my new best I've ever had kind of situation, I don't think it's right for me to compete. So
yeah, cool. I mean, there's a big change obviously to how the competitions are now with the coffee community championships. Are you a fan of that? Do you think it's going to be a lot easier?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it seems a lot more approachable for most people.
Yeah, coffee competitions are very expensive. When you try to push to that top level, they can be, or previously where the score sheets were weighted, we're encouraging things like fancy contraptions and stuff like that. It's definitely stepped away from that now, which I think is a real positive. It is definitely more experience based, and what are the judges going to experience, like in the cup, in the taste, those sorts of things, and that's what's really important. And what we're seeing is, you know, a lot of people who are they're successful quicker because they're focusing on just that taste aspect, and there's less about how you present and things like that. So it's more of a coffee competition now and a coffee skills competition rather than a, you know, who's the greatest magician sort of competition.
Yeah,
with
fantastic.
Coffee taste. So.
So for someone who's watching this right now and maybe a barista behind a bar, pumping out brews all day, and they see this and go, okay, I'll give it a go. What bit of advice would you give them, mate? Where should they start? What should they do?
The community coffee champs are awesome for a start because you don't need a heap of gear. I loved that idea of you rock up, the grinders are there, the machine's there, you got all the equipment, you make it taste as good as you can. That's what a barista does in the bar every day. You get bags of coffee, you figure out how to you dial in your recipe, your service style or whatever. Mm-hmm. A great barista in the shop is working with what they've got to an extent. They have choices in what they order and things like that. So competition just allows you to kind of go that little extra refined in how you think about curating an experience. And it's probably that thing that is that next step from what you're doing every day in the cafe. So like curating how you're going to drink it or like what recipe or detail in terms of like maybe cup temperature or service timing and things like that. It allows you to sort of delve a little bit deeper into that. And what's cool is that any barista who works in a shop or if they work for a company with a big budget, anyone can do that. Anyone can explore these things because it's as simple as doing tests and doing blind tasting and going through the process. So
yeah, awesome.
I think if you're curious about taste and about experience, you can do it.
Cool. There's 5 competitors today in the Australian Barista Championships categories. I think you'd know all the 5 out of all of those. We've got Jim Lin competing under our banner, which we're absolutely stoked. So stealing him away from the the others for the heritage, I guess you might say, from the comps. But anyone out there you think, hey, it's their year, their chance? Have you sort of got any early ideas that you could put out there? Because haven't started. The comp hasn't started yet. It's coming up, not far.
I've got no idea. I mean, it's a new format, so I mean there are a lot of experienced baristas. Like Isaac Kim, for example, has come back and he's competed a lot before. I mean, there's a bunch of people. I mean, I'm not going to name heaps of names, but I'm not saying Isaac is the winner.
I know where Isaac was last night.
I know.
He's a bit behind the 8 ball, I must admit.
I know Jim's an amazing barista. He's made me some amazing. There's so many amazing people. So I think it's just who lines it up right on the day kind of thing. I think it's anyone's game, which is cool.
It is, and I think that's what's really cool. So it seems to be game on when it's really comp time, absolutely. But outside of the industry, everyone wants to help and be supportive of each other. So you say Isaac's helping Jim a lot. Yeah. And so last night we were out to dinner, and he didn't have his speech nailed.
That's so Isaac.
So if Isaac pulls this out of the hat.
But he might turn up and make amazing coffee and might get... Sometimes you see these competitions and you watch the routines, and unless you've tasted the coffee, you have absolutely no idea who's going to win. And the number of even Worlds campaigns that I've seen and I've just gone, no one saw that coming kind of thing. That happens a lot nowadays because people are coming in with unreal... There's so many amazing coffees out there. People have got better at roasting. The understanding is just such high level that you might get someone who's just played around in their garage, but they've made the right decisions and they're turning up and they get an amazing espresso out and score high points. So.
Well, my 8 o'clock last night, it was Isaac, Jim and myself playing with recipes on the espresso and the milk, just trying to get it right, and the aged and the frozen. It was all on, but look, I think we've nailed it for today, so it'll be really good.
Yeah, and it's amazing how things can turn around so fast in competitions as well. I know Matt Lewin, for example, when he won Australian competition, they were doing milk-based dial-in stuff the night before one of the days of the competition, and he was 50 points above second place, and he was in no man's land the day before, sort of thing. And I've seen this a lot of times. So I can't make it.
The pressure can get to somebody, make a few little mistakes, a little bit of mess.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jim won. There's so many people I wouldn't be surprised. So
awesome,
just good luck.
All right, good stuff. Well, mate, thanks very much for putting leading the charge there for many years, mate, and inspiring others. So
thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate it, and look forward to whatever the future brings for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. So when you went into this competition, you didn't have a chance to play with this gear, but now that you can touch and feel it, no one's going to know this, right? Because these are your little tips. What have you done specifically to have an edge over somebody else in the competition? Because no one's going to see this until after the comp. So what have you done, mate? Have you changed anything with temperatures or the heat on the grinder, or what have you done on the Prima specifically to have an advantage? Again, the who's who of the coffee industry is here. We've got Simon Gautherin here, and you're in the Brewers Cup. You basically just did an awesome presentation.
Thank you.
And water's the key part, and that's obviously a big passion for you. Mate, tell us about your competition history, and then we'll go into some water stuff.
Yeah, nice. So I've been,
right? Yeah,
thanks. I've been competing in Brewers Cup and AeroPress for a couple of years now. I think this is my 4th season competing. So yeah, I've been around the competition scene for many years coaching, and this is my 4th time competing.
Awesome. Yeah, great. And so, like, your whole presentation then was all about water and adapting coffee back to the water that you had here, because it was a constraint of the competition this year. I mean, one thing that the Brewers Cup is they provide you with so many things. What are your thoughts around that in terms of someone new trying to get into the industry?
Yeah, so for this specific competition, we couldn't bring our own water. We had to use what was provided, and for me it was a bit of a hurdle because that water has always been my secret weapon when it comes to coffee competition. I've been making my own water for 8 years. It's something that I've heavily researched. I've even launched a company last year that specializes in water for coffee. So not being able to create my own water was a bit of a struggle, and I had to adapt around that. Now it just means that it's easier in terms of options that you have, because you're limiting the number of options, and it just means that you're not going to be spending heaps amount of time trying to improve your coffee with different water recipes, because it's a rabbit hole. You can get lost into that.
Mate, every conversation with anybody around coffee, you end up, after a couple of beers, you end up talking about water.
Oh yeah, it comes back.
Filtration water is the key thing. But look, Apex Labs is the product and the business that you've brought out. Just tell us quickly about my understanding, the 3 different products you got there,
yeah.
But how much success that's happening in the competition space, mate?
Yeah, so we launched this startup called Apex Lab. We make mineral concentrates that you can use to make your own brewing water, or that you can use directly to add to your coffee. And this is something that we kind of pioneered in that space, the ability to add minerals after the coffee's been brewed. So far, a lot of people believe that you needed minerals to extract compounds out of coffee, which happens not to be the case. So whether you add the minerals before or after the brew, or after brewing, doesn't really make a difference. So we created 3 profiles that are blends of different minerals that basically people can use to get what they want more of in a specific cup. So we have one that brings more acidity and brightness, one that brings body and sweetness, and one that brings a really silky, elegant texture and floral notes, which is pretty much we broke down what the coffee consumption market was, and you have people that like acidity, you have people that like heavy, round coffees, and you have people that like delicate, elegant coffees. So we built 3 profiles that highlight more of these things, just based on market studies that we did.
Yeah, awesome.
And in terms of success, yeah. We launched the company 10 months ago, and we've had 110 competitors win their national championships, and 2 competitors win a world championship with it. We are headed to Jakarta very soon, and so far we have about 80% of competitors using our products. We're aiming for 100%, so
awesome.
Let's see.
That much. Awesome, mate. Well, congratulations. I'm sure you're going to actually smash it. We'll wait and see how it all comes out in the wash.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
30 seconds of development. This will bring more brightness in the acidity, more vibrancy, and will help you combat the high levels of bicarbonate and the low level of magnesium. And you'll be surprised, but I roasted this coffee 5 weeks ago. Today, the coffee that I'm serving to you, I believe, is an outstanding expression of this Sudan Rumi. But I can guarantee you that with the right iron combination, I could totally push this coffee even further than that. Thank you very much. Please enjoy this coffee. Bye.
Woo! Let's get up for Success Coffee!
All right, so we're going to take a sneaky moment just in between baristas as they reset for the competition. But I want to introduce Hannah here from Victoria Arduino. Thanks very much for sponsoring the Coffee Community Championships.
Welcome, our pleasure.
So, look, it's a different format this year. Obviously, some big changes. A bit easier, maybe a bit easier to enter this kind of competition. So, what is Victoria Arduino doing this year to help the competition? What's happening?
Look, I think for us and from our perspective, so competitions have always been at heart for us. The World Barista Competition, which everyone knows, started 25 years ago this year, and we have been a sponsor for the last 16 years of that 25 years. So,
yeah, wow, I didn't know that.
So in various brands, so I started with our Simonelli brand back in 2009, And then from 2015, our Victoria Arduino brand has been on the world stage. So this actual grinder is the grinder that if a competitor from Australia will make it to the Worlds, they will be using that on the stage. So that is still sponsored and endorsed by World Barista Championships.
Oh, fantastic.
And then obviously this year, being a different format, we needed to look at a smaller machine, more portable. So this guy is just the one group version of our Eagle One coffee machine, which you'll see around Australia. So out in cafes, or not just Australia, actually around the world. So yeah, we thought we'd bring him along, and he's a good guy to help competitors, easy to transport and easy for them to be able to use in practice time as well.
Yep. So an awesome high-end home machine, is that where it sits?
It's definitely a machine I want for home, that's for sure.
Sure.
Look, in Australia, I mean, given our coffee consumption, it's not really something that you'd see in a commercial environment. Like you might see it in a bar or a small restaurant. But other places in the world where they have small footprint, definitely see a lot of these guys. Also, the Eagle One as a coffee machine has won a lot of awards. It's considered the most sustainable coffee machine on the market.
Oh, wow.
Globally. So it is a machine like in Europe and that's really highly regarded. So you do see smaller machines like this out there. But in Australia, yeah, based on our consumption, it definitely kind of falls in the home category.
Isn't that funny how that, you know, we have so much coffee and then we have to have a big machine for the cafes, but you know, there's a disparity between the volumes of coffee and milk coffee that's done in Australia to around the rest of the world.
Yeah,
so
like we obviously as Italian machine manufacturer, as most are, you create machines in Italy for espresso because that's what people drink. Whereas in Australia, being 70% milk, we have to make sure that we bring products into market that can withstand that and that are purpose built to deal with those milk consumptions.
yeah, fantastic. Well, I think it's a lot easier for people to enter the arena now, or the competitive arena, by having standardised gear. So thanks very much for supporting the industry. We'll know who goes through. So yeah, it's exciting. But thanks very much for supporting Coffee Community Championships, and I certainly look forward to many more years.
Thanks for putting someone forward.
Yeah,
helps our industry and helps the competition keep going.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we stole him. All right, we stole Jim. Thanks very much, Hannah.
No worries. Thanks. Mate.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
I taste the coffee in 92-degree brewing temperature, and then it ends up becomes a little bit tight. It's just very salty, not extracted enough. So I raise it up to 93, and then it tastes better. Raise it to 94, and then it's slightly tasting over. So I pull it back a little bit, 93.5 degree, which is amazing. And going back to the grinders, and we did a lot of tests as well. Like, can I try it on a single dose? Can I try it on what's the weight that you put it inside a hopper? Like 500 gram, a kilo, or maybe can I use just one dose? Is that enough pressure to grind the coffee? So it ends up I'm using like around 100 kilos coffee in there to giving enough pressure, so it getting me a pretty consistent grind profile. And also I got a chance to play around with the grind size adjustment as well, because as you see there's random numbers in there. I have no idea what it is. If I just drum in random machine, I have no idea where it goes to. So little tricks for you guys to quickly dial in the grinders. So just continually pressing it and then just keep grinding it finer until you heard the burr has been touching each other's. That's what we call a 0 point. Very similar when you're having an EK, when you have a flat burr grinders, you were doing the very similar things. Once you're hearing the burrs start touching each other's, you can stop and then reset the dial to 0, and now you know where your 0 point is. So that's a very quick, efficient way. You don't even need to grind any coffees out of it, but you can find the 0 point out of the grinders within like 20 seconds.
Oh, what's your name, sorry?
Lee.
Lee, I'm Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Welcome to the Artisti YouTube channel. Hey, just touching base, we just had a quick connection before, but this is your first time competing.
That's correct.
Wow. Yeah. How are you feeling right now?
I'm here a day before my comp just to get used to the environment and meet the people who's in the same coffee industry. Definitely butterflies in my tummy at the moment, and I'm very excited to start my journey tomorrow.
Yeah, awesome. We've got the debriefing for the Latte Art, which is what you're competing in. Now, I'm going to be one of the Latte Art judges, so I'm nervous as well. So, you know, it's good to be both sides of it. So for me, in just doing this video, yes, I'm pretty excited about trying to get the Coffee Community Championships out to people more. You know, it's felt like it hasn't been as accessible, possibly, over the years, but you're here. So, which is fantastic. So I don't know if I've come across anyone else yet that's been able to come here. So why did you choose to compete in latte art?
To be honest, compared to the other events like the Brewers, the Barista Championship, I always felt latte art and the cup tasters are the more accessible ones to do solo without a backup with a roster and a team. But with the new format, it looks like every single event becomes more accessible.
It sure has. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Brewers Cup, you've got all the gear that's behind us over here available and easy to come and use now, so that's fantastic. In terms of latte art, we've got sponsored jugs. I believe the Jimmy jugs are here somewhere. And then with, Barista Champs, you've got the machines, the grinders, the whole lot, auto tampers ready, so super accessible. So is that one of the key things as to why you decided to come and compete?
Yes, it is, and it's also my final year here in Australia. So that's another reason why I'm here to share my originals with the judges, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, and just I love coffee. That's all I know.
Okay.
I love coffee.
Where are you going to? Where are you heading off to?
I'm going to Vietnam, Nha Trang. Yeah.
Are you going to try and compete from Vietnam next year or in the future?
Maybe in a different category. Maybe in Brewers or Barista Championship. My main goal would be Barista Championship.
Okay. That's a very competitive space to be in.
I know, but we all have to start somewhere.
We do. Everyone just keeps walking through. Well, mate, best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you on the other side of the table.
Thank you.
I'm pretty nervous but fun. I'm excited to be able to be part of it. So,
Right, thank you for your time.
all right, best of luck tomorrow. Cheers. Thanks. Awesome, man. You got an automatic tamper that all this gear is supplied for
Yeah.
the competition. You don't have much variability at this stage. So you've got the tamper there. Is there a specific pressure that you're putting on top of your coffee?
I'm grinding my coffee into, tampering my coffee in 25 kilo pressure in this tamper. So you all know like puck press or the compact that we having for our customers, they roughly sitting on 13, 14 kilo temp pressure, which is ideal. Just for compact specific things, I just need to go for a higher temp, just giving me a bit more stable, giving me a consistent coffee plug. So, which is a lot of tests that we have been doing with the grinders, matching with the grind profile. I just need a bit more heavier temp pressure to get everything out of it. And yeah,
Cool. Oh, Jim, you nervous? How you feeling?
feeling good. Like we're looking forward to it. We're excited. We're well prepared everything. So we just can't wait to show you guys how to make this delicious coffee out of it.
All right, well, we're super confident. We're super proud of you, mate. Everyone's watching and stoked for you. So well done, man. Looking forward to it.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm here with Bruno. I believe you're the president of ASCA. Is that correct?
I'm president of ASCA, absolutely, yes. Australian Specialty Coffee Association.
Brilliant. Well, a little bit of a change this year. We've got the Coffee Community Challenge, and that's under still your guidance, I believe, in running all these events.
It is, yes. So the Community Coffee Champs is a new initiative that we've introduced this year, which brings we're trying to lower the bar to entry for across all sectors. So for the competitors, the judges, the sponsors, we created a little bit of a lower key sort of competition, which is a little bit more approachable to encourage more people to participate who look at our top tier, ASCA top national performances, and look, our competitors are the best in the world, so it's pretty daunting. So our numbers have been sort of slightly dwindling. So in an effort to rekindle that want to compete, we created this new product, which by all accounts, every time we've done it around the country now, and we've got one more to go in Victoria. It's been very well received by the competitors, the judges, and everyone involved. So I think we succeeded in our endeavour to produce a quality product with a little bit of a less barrier to entry for everyone, which is enjoyable and not sort of as tense and cutthroat sort of type thing, which it feels like when you sort of get to nationals. But we're pretty proud of it, and it's worked really well. So we're encouraged. I'm hoping by all the feedback that we're getting that we will probably double our participation rates next year. So that's the goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with my first time at an event and being able to see that lower barrier of entry, the ability to supply all the stuff's been fantastic. And we've definitely seen, I managed to judge Latte Art, which was great.
Amazing,
And I think there's two new competitors in that space, which was
we've
fantastic.
had a lot.
And,
across the board, we're getting we've got probably 40% new competitors who've never competed before approaching the Community Coffee Champ. So hopefully they've got a feel for it and get the twitch. and go on to compete again next year. And hopefully they'll encourage their friends and go back to their workplaces and then say, hey, this is a really great experience. Maybe you should have a crack. So.
Yeah. And if you find it a bit daunting being in front of everyone trying to perform either brewers or barista or latte, I mean, you can always be a judge. I
Absolutely.
mean, come in. That's a big side of the industry, which I think is, for me now, I know how much effort and time it goes into that space and how serious they take it. If you're a detailed kind of driven person, I think it's definitely something to come and give it a go.
Well, it's actually harder to be on the judging panel than to be behind the competitor station. Everyone seems to think that competition is the hardest place to be. The actual hardest place to be is on the other side, on the judging table, because obviously your scores and that will impact the competitors. And somebody's going to win, and there's unfortunately a lot of people who aren't. And those things can directly affect those competitors in a lot of ways. So it's a really important role. It's a supportive role that needs to encourage, but we still have to apply the rules fairly to everyone so that we have a legitimate competition where the legitimate best person in brewers today won.
Yeah.
And goes through to the next round, and then there'll be others who go through under the new system. So the winners of each discipline will automatically qualify to go to nationals, and then we'll put all of the scores from around the country into a bell curve distribution, and then there'll be a cutoff, a bit like the PGA golf, and anyone who's scored above that will go to nationals as well. So that's how the program will work. It's great to be involved, either competing or either judging, even volunteers. We've had the highest number of volunteers ever with the Community Coffee Champs. I mean, it is designed to build community, because if we don't have grassroots, we don't get the big game.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a bit like AFL or any of the other sporting codes. They put a lot of money and effort into the grassroots development programs so that they can foster them through all of the upper echelons and then eventually get to the top league. We're doing exactly the same sort of thing with the Community Coffee Champs. So hopefully that all works out well, and we'll end up with a whole system that works with a succession program for everyone. I mean, the top tiers will be there, but they won't be there forever.
Yeah.
So it's somebody else has got to step up and win.
Yeah, and the cool thing I've noticed about this is you can be the best of the best, and you can be side by side as a newbie, and everyone's just here to support and see you, and that's it. It's game on when it's happening, but essentially everyone does look to support and help each other out. So it's really quite fun.
One of the greatest things I saw was out in the foyer there, that all the competitors were there brewing their coffees and sharing their coffees together around a brewing station. Like, that would never have happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now there's 10 or 15 competitors out there brewing their competition coffee for each other, sharing it, tasting it, talking about their experiences. There's no better endorsement of this product than what I saw out there.
Yeah. Now, we've all the competitions finished, so it's really good that a bit of pressure off you at the moment, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we've got about another hour or so before we announce all of the finalists and so on. But overall, calibre of the competitors, it was a bit fierce rivalry in certain spots. Anything you can sort of, there's general always, conversations you could talk up at this moment?
Sydney and Melbourne are two of the bigger, obviously, areas for us in terms of coffee. There's, although everyone seemed pretty happy and fair, there is that element of, I actually want to win, I actually want to beat you, in a friendly way. I really can't tell, to be honest, because the calibre of entries is very high, actually. And you just don't know how the cards will fall. Like, you get to see this great performance, but you don't actually get to taste the actual brew or the actual coffee. So it's very hard to know what the judges experienced. And that's the hardest thing to do. You watch it and you think, oh, that was amazing, that must taste great. And if you listen to the competitors' descriptions and the taste notes, and it's like, oh, I want that.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of coffees I was hearing. I'm like, give me some of that.
Give me that.
And they all only have like 2 extra samples. They run it so fine.
Yeah, well, they use such expensive coffees as well, so they only roast a very small amount. And they may have 8 or 10 doses literally to do their practice and competition time. So it's a fine line, and you tread it. Sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes wrong, and you end up with no coffee, and it's like, oh. But no, the standard has been really high across the country. It's been great to see the new people get involved, and they are actually more advanced than we are.
Yeah.
Or we were 10 years ago, the same space.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It is what it is.
Mate, thanks very much for a great competition. Look forward to hearing about all the finalists
Yeah,
very soon.
We're looking forward to it now.
Thanks, Bruno.
Cheers.
Excuse me, we've got to give a special mention to the lovely ladies behind the scene here. We've got Serene and Natalie.
Hello.
These contests would not happen without you. So, hey, how's it been? You've certainly been a shining light to everyone and, organising on the chat groups and going hard on a big project for you. How are you feeling right now?
Relief, finally it's over, and we are just blessed that every competitor is having a great time. Everything went smooth because of Natalie.
Everything ran to time and nobody cried, so that's great.
Everyone said it normally goes overtime, but it seemed to be very well organised.
And very strict.
Good job.
Yes.
Keep everyone in line.
Yes, exactly. I think at the end of the day of organising the whole event, it's for the competitors to have a very fair and square competition, to have great judges that is well calibrated, and also not giving more stress for the competitors because they put a lot of effort inside, and we want to pick the best New South Wales competitor to represent us to the national.
And
That's
ACT.
it. And ACT, sorry.
New South Wales, ACT.
Yeah, awesome.
Got to beat Victoria.
Yay!
Awesome. Well, I'm sure on behalf of everybody here, they're just so delighted to have you involved and thankful for everything you've done. So well done, and looking forward to next time. I mean, I'm going
Thank
to
you
come
for
back.
judging, Luke. That's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. Yes. Woo.
Thank you.
Professional latte art judge.
Yay!
Oh, thank you very much. Awesome work.
Thank you
Love
so
it.
much.
Love your work.
We have Jim Lin from Artisti Coffee Roaster. Artisti Coffee Roaster. Put your hands together for Jim. And welcome, judges.
Alright, we're ready to go? More coffee? Great. Time. Hello judges, a very warm welcome to you. Growing in 1,700 meters above sea level, the slow maturations enhances complexity and sweetness. The carbonic macerated wash process further refines its clarity. To capture the feeling of a refreshing morning, I've chosen a carbonic macerated wash station from Colombia, Finca Lucado, to share with you as our espresso. The incredible sweetness. As you take the first sip, feel how the brightness of this coffee reminds us a fresh beginning of a brand new day. It brings us clarity and filling us with energy. So please enjoy the orange blossom and grapefruit, and please let it energize you. Well, please enjoy. Are we ready for fun? Great. From the freshness of the morning, we now travel to different moments in time. It's now midday. The moment when we focus on studying or working. And milk chocolate. This coffee is grinding, steady, providing us comfort and clarity. So please enjoy this coffee after I call time. Well, judges, in this competition, we celebrate skills, technique, and craft. But what makes coffee truly special for me is its ability to connect us to different moments and memories in the past. Thank you so much for joining me in the journey today. And I hope you enjoyed the coffee and memory we just created and shared. And I'm sure next time when you taste this coffee again, you'll think of me and our time here together. Please enjoy. Bye.
Together for Jim Lin.
locked up all day and I haven't been able to talk to you.
Okay.
I've been doing the latte art thing. It's pretty strict. Like I literally couldn't talk to anybody and come down here. But how are you feeling today? Obviously, it's been a long day to wait in the anticipation of how well you've done.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now? We're going to know within about half hour or so how you went. What are you feeling right now?
Feeling great. Like today, we're just chill, relax. We're helping out each other. Like if the organization needs help, but just jump around, see if I can help a bit, and also just helping to shoot some content while you're judging. Yeah. So probably you guys can see some about like Latte Art Com and how it works. You can share a bit more from the judge perspective later on. But today was feeling great. We know we do our best, and we just the outcome was the outcome. So we learn from it, we gain some experience, and we always try to be a better self. Yeah.
Yep. You definitely always look really calm under pressure. So you don't tend to show your emotions a lot. It's really a good trait. But underneath, you're trembling a little.
Like sweat, yeah.
You're sweaty underneath.
Wet my pants.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, mate, really excited for everything you've done. Really proud on how well you've represented Artisti, mate. And definitely the team have been back at Artisti, been absolutely stoked with your presentation, and they're all just excited. And you've brought another whole level into the business there that, we just didn't have that in the business. So from me and from Liz, we're just really thankful for you bringing in and sharing your talents. And I know you're going to inspire the rest of the team. So thank you very much for that.
No, thanks for having me.
No worries, our pleasure, mate. Well, hopefully we'll be back soon with some positive info.
Yeah, let's do it.
Looking forward to it. Bruno, get out of the way.
I will move.
Jimmy Lin, mate, congratulations. How do you feel, mate?
I'm feeling great. Like it's such amazing outcome that we.
What outcome did you get, mate? I haven't told anyone. No one knows yet. How did you go?
Second place, the Oatly Barista competition. Jim Lin! Once again, the winner which I'm about to announce, obviously it's a free trip internationals in Melbourne later on in the year.
Alright. We're here. 3, 2, 1. Another one. 3, 2, 1. Good.
Well done. To all of our official.
We got second place in New South Wales and ACD Barista.com now.
That is awesome. Everyone is so proud of you, mate. It was so well deserved, and we're just stoked we could be here to share it with you.
Yeah, such a great teamwork. Like we work with the whole team together and get a speech. Every single detail we're finding it. We got a coach ASCA to help out, and obviously we got a lot of provision all surrounding by, and then just unlimited support from everybody. So I don't think it's single person's work. It's all about teamwork. It's all about the support, and everyone just built this up. So it's never going to be done by one person. Yeah.
So, mate, what went through your head? I know Isaac's been helping you, which was great. And when you found out he came third, what went through your head?
Congratulations. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. Like, it's just great. Like, we always wish we can do the best. Yep. We always wish, like, everyone just present the best and get the best outcome. And
Jim, that's your humble thoughts, and we really love that about you, how humble you are. And I know he's a mate, and you're really great. But come on, mate. Did you think, oh, wow, am I in top 2 when that happened? After the celebrations for Isaac?
I think we'll be. It's the most exciting part, but always be. You never know, but I'll just humbly accept the outcome, and I think that's the most excited and interesting part. That waiting for the announcement, you will never know the outcome. You can be out of the top 3, or you can be the first place, but no matter what outcome is, we'll just stay humble, accepting it, because we got experience. We always can learn, we always can improve. Something that we learn from the progress, we never lose, but the title, someone else will come up for the next year. Yep. So yeah.
Awesome. So now we've got to wait for Victoria to hold their championships, and there's an average of extra 6 spots. So you've got the winners of each state, and then there's the best 6 after that will go through. So I'm quietly confident. I know you're still up in the air about it, but I think you did well, mate, and we look forward to following the journey. But it's it's great to be in this position. You did really well, mate. You should be super proud.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it.
Awesome, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Get some rest now, mate. It's been a pretty big road to get here.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
It's tired.
Thanks to his lovely wife, who allowed the apartment to turn into a coffee lab.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Like we might need a bigger place now to get more training on.
Behind every man, there's always a great woman.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for my lovely partners that always being support. Yeah, as always. I think, yeah.
Awesome. Right, mate.
Thank you.
Go and get some rest. Well, there you go. He came second. How good is that for Jim? We're absolutely stoked for him that he could put so much time and effort in and become the number 2 in New South Wales in the Barista comps. Well, I hope that's inspired you, maybe to compete next year. There's actually still opportunities in Victoria. So if this comes out before then, you can go and compete. You can go and try your hand at Latte Art, Brewers Cup, or the Barista comps. There's still an opportunity. So all the competitions now are actually for next year. So you're going to see some big contests happening around the World Championships, but these people actually competed last year to be this year's champion. So Jim's going to hopefully find out once Victoria has their competition whether he gets in the next lot of 6 that go through the top high schools. So really, anticipated to see how he goes, but absolutely stoked for all his efforts so far. So anyway, thanks very much everyone. I hope you got a bit of an idea of what it is like inside this barista community of competitions. Maybe it's something that you want to give a go. If it is, please go and check out the ASCA or the ASCA website. That's definitely where you need to go. Or in the local areas, your coffee community competitions as well. That's definitely the way you can get into it. So anyway, any questions, pop them down below and I'll try and answer them. Thanks very much. Catch you soon. Cheers. Bye.